You know, this hurts. This really, really hurts. It sucks that this keeps happening in the industry. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Firings, layoffs, shutdowns, delays, price increase. What do you do? What do you say? It keeps happening. And people will look around at you and tell you that everything is fine when it's not. Yo, what is good, people, man? It's your boy Persona, gaming with Persona, one half of the What's Up PlayStation podcast crew. And yo, man, impromptu when Persona Speaks, man, episode, I think we're on what, 265, 266? Who knows? You know, it's when Persona Speaks. And you know, when Persona Speaks, it's gonna be good. Listen, I literally just got home. I literally just got home from work. Literally just stepped in the office. I stepped in the crib. Literally. I saw the news as I was coming home, and I was like, because I wasn't really on Twitter that much today. You know, I was in the office today, so it was really, really busy day. So I just saw the news. And shout out to Barry, because Barry had texted me earlier. It was like, yo, Firewalk done. I'm like, huh? Nani? And then I see the article and the news on Twitter, and I was like, yo, as soon as I get home, I got to do a show. We gotta do a When Persona Speaks and talk about this, because this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Shout out to everybody here, man. I appreciate y'all coming through, rocking out with your boy, man. Listen, if you're at work, hopefully I can get you through your work day. If you're on your way home from work or school, hopefully I can get you through your commute home safely. If you're at home cooking dinner, doing homework with the kids, whatever you're doing, hopefully I can get you through your session. Listen, you might be taking a shower. I don't know. Cleanliness is closer to godliness. Listen, you might be having matters with a significant other. I don't know. I just appreciate you putting me on. Listen, shout out to everybody here, man. Yo, DeJuan Thompson, what's going on with you, man? Appreciate you. Aaron in the building. Appreciate you coming through. Ice Queen in the building. Jay Bari in the building. Kratos 99. E Rice in the building. E Rice said, what up, Persona? I see you wearing all black too. Yes, sir. Gots to, man. It's a crazy day. Yo, Cold Blood Sensei in the building. What's going on with you, man? Dion 78 in the building. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody here, man. Listen, round of applause to everybody in the chat. Big round of applause to everybody here, man. Yo, Son Artist, what's good? Appreciate you, man. Diablo, Dark Matter in the building. Appreciate you guys. I know this is a bit of an impromptu show, so I know probably people are getting home from work or trying to do whatever they do, man. So, you know, if you're watching this right now or watch it or you decide to watch this later, I do appreciate everybody that comes through, man. I'm not going to be super, super long pause with this, but I was going to do a video, but I was like, you know what? We got to do a When Persona Speaks on this, man, because, you know, Concord is a game that I truly did enjoy. You know, and it was very close to my heart. You feel me? Listen, you know, it wasn't a perfect game, right? I think Concord had a lot of issues. I think there was a lot of things that I think both Firewalk and PlayStation did wrong when it came to launching Concord, which we'll talk about here, and then just talk about the closures and just give my thoughts on everything, you know. So I figured, you know what? Instead of doing a video, which would have been like a 30-minute video anyway, I was like, you know what? Let's do a When Persona Speaks, and let's, you know, let's vibe out and talk about everything and go through everything piece by piece. and just do it all up. You feel me? So shout out to everybody here. Like I said, I know it's impromptu, man. So a lot of people, the algorithm might be catching up. So if you are coming in, like I said, shout out to everybody here, and I appreciate y'all. Yo, E-Dog, what's good, man? Appreciate you. Gian, the Don in the building. Gian, I appreciate you, man, coming through, rocking out. Big shout out to everybody here, man. Another round of applause for the folks in the chat. Big round of applause, man. Appreciate you all, man. Appreciate everybody being here. All right, so let's get into it, man. So what is it that we are talking about? So if you've been living under a rock, which I don't think anybody here has been, but we gotta make sure we set everything up. Let's talk about it, man. So PlayStation released an update today in regards to certain studios. So from my understanding, it's not just Firewalk, it's another studio called Neo Koi or something like that. But let's read through what PlayStation has put out in terms of their blog, and then we'll talk about it, and we'll give our thoughts and whatnot, right? So sit back, relax, get your dinner, get your lunch, whatever you're doing, man. Get you something to drink, man. We about to vibe out. It's When Persona Speaks. Let's get into it. I appreciate y'all. All right, so this email comes from Herman Hulse, who is the CEO and Studio Business Group. I'm getting tongue-tied. Hold up. This comes from Herman Hulse, who is the CEO and the head of Sony's, the studios, gaming studios and whatnot. So he says, "Dear team, today I want to share some important updates from Sony Interactive Entertainment Studio Business Group. We consistently evaluate our games portfolio and status of our projects to ensure we are meeting near and long-term business priorities. As part of our ongoing efforts to strengthen SIE studio business, we have had to make a difficult decision relating to two of our studios, Neon Koi and Firewalk Studios, expanding beyond PlayStation devices and crafting engaging online experiences alongside our single-player games are key focal areas for us as we evolve our revenue streams. We need to be strategic, though, in bringing our games to new platforms and recognize when our games fall short of meeting player expectations. While mobile remains a priority growth area for the studio business, we are in the very early stage of our mobile efforts. To achieve success in this area, we need to concentrate on titles that are in line with PlayStation Studios' pedigree and have a potential to reach more players globally. With this refocused approach, Neo Koi will close and its mobile action game will not be moving forward. I want to express my gratitude to everyone at Neo Koi for their hard work and endless passion to innovate. Regarding Firewalk Studios, Firewalk, as announced in early September, certain aspects of Concord were exceptional, but others did not land with enough players, and as a result, we took the game offline. We have spent considerable time these past few months exploring all our options. After much thought, we have determined the best path forward is to permanently sunset the game and close the studio. I want to thank all of Firewalk for their craftsmanship, creative spirit, and dedication. The PvP first-person shooter genre is a competitive space that's continuously evolving, and unfortunately, we did not hit our targets with this title. We will take the lessons learned from Concord and continue to advance our live service capabilities to deliver future growth in this area. I know none of this is easy news to hear, particularly with colleagues and friends departing SIE. Both decisions were given serious thought, and ultimately we feel they are the right ones to strengthen the organization. Neo Koi and Firewalk were home to many talented individuals, and we will work to find placement for some of those impacted within our global community of studios where possible. I am a big believer in the benefits of embracing creative experimentation and developing new IP. However, growing through sustainable financials, especially in a challenged economic environment, is critical. While today is a difficult day, there is much to look forward to in the months ahead from the studio business group and our teams. I remain confident that we are building a resilient and capable organization driven by creating unforgettable entertainment experiences for all our players. Thank you for your continued support." Herman Hulse. Okay. So that is what PlayStation said when it comes to Firewalk Studios and Neo Koi. In terms of the mobile game or the mobile studio. Sorry guys, I had a long day. Sorry. But I still got energy. I got energy for this. So in terms of Neo Koi and that mobile game studio, I didn't necessarily I don't know too much. I didn't know too much about them, and what they were making. I know PlayStation was trying to jump into the mobile genre. Again, that's another very competitive area. The mobile side of things when it comes to gaming is very saturated with all types of games. You got tons of studios and tons of people putting mobile games out there, and everybody's competing for that dollar in the mobile market. Now, obviously, the mobile market is a very powerful market and a powerful revenue stream if you strike it big within the mobile market, which I understand why so many people are trying to break through into that market in terms of the big three, PlayStation, Xbox, and or Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo. But again, you can't just put anything on there and expect it to be successful. I'm surprised that they're even canceling the game. So I would assume that probably whatever Neo Koi was making, PlayStation looked at and thought, this might not be the best approach, or the game just wasn't hitting, or they weren't meeting their deliverables. Who knows, right? But I do think that part of Neo Koi's closure might be a bit of collateral damage. I was trying to think of the words. Collateral damage from Firewalk Studios. So what do I mean by that? Firewalk Studio and the game that they were making, PlayStation acquired the studio back in 2023 for an undisclosed amount of money, right? PlayStation partnered with Probably Monsters Publishing back in 2021, and they were going to be, it was announced that Firewalk would be a studio that would be making a competitive multiplayer game or a PvP multiplayer game, right? So, this partnership has been fostering for a very long time. When PlayStation opted to buy them in 2023, I'm assuming at the time the people that looked at the game or whatever the case may be, they thought that it would be a hit because of, it falling within that hero genre, whatever. But still being, I would assume, still being unique enough to where it can have its own footing within the world and the genre of live service games, and more so PvP, competitive focused live service games. With everything that has transpired with Firewalk and everything that has happened with Firewalk, I believe that the failure of Concord and it being such a monumental failure for PlayStation, I think this probably put them in a position to where they started to look at their entire portfolio and other things that they felt might not resonate, that they may feel looks good, but then really taking a step back in hindsight and looking at it again with seeing the failure of Concord, Neo Koi might have also had to fall within, had to be collateral damage, because whatever they were making, they just felt that it just ain't gonna hit, especially after seeing the failure of Concord, right? So I think that the Neo Koi thing is definitely, in my opinion, from where I sit, I think that definitely might be some collateral damage. Yo, shout out to everybody here, man. Appreciate y'all coming through. Yo, Prince Philip, what's up? Appreciate you. Aaron, should have made it free to play and put it on Xbox. Cut it out. Sparta, what's good? Appreciate you. Wavy Cricket in the building. Wavy, what's up? Stephen Leon, what up, man? Man, this is rough. I was hoping they would release Concord as free to play. I watched you play. Looked fun. Sad, really sad. Yeah, very sad to see, Stefan. To see the studio get shut down and whatnot. People losing their jobs, being displaced. All that stuff really does suck. Yo, Kevin, what's good? Sad for the devs, but not surprised. Very sad. Yo, Arcade, what's good, man? Antonio Alman, what's good? Which game was worse, Concord or Crossfire X? I didn't play Crossfire X, so I can't really speak to that. Yo, it's Laundrius, what's good? Appreciate you coming through. Yo, shout out to everybody here, man. Persona admitting there is a Concord tax. Persona admitting there is a Concord tax. I'm surprised. What do you mean, Yo, it's me, baby. What's good? There is no, I don't know what you mean by Concord tax. I'm saying that Neo Koi getting shut down could potentially be collateral damage, because they clearly, and it says in the email, they were reevaluating their portfolio, trying to keep their portfolio and everything as strong as possible. This is what Hermer Holtz is saying. So looking at that, I'm assuming they looked at everything holistically, especially looking at the failure of Concord and having that lesson learned. They probably looked at everything else and said, okay, justifying or doing lessons learned, this could potentially be something that might be a failure as well. Let's, you know, let's reevaluate, or let's try to shut this out as well. Yo, Stephen Leon, appreciate you for the 10 gifted memberships, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It really means a lot, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to the new members, man. We got who else? Gianadon, member of the channel. Ice Queen, Broken Lobo, Amun Ratri K, Brian East, G Jr., MDH Games, El Nini, Rob Gaming TV. Shout out to the new members. Johnny Gaming. Shout out to everybody that's becoming a member of the channel. So make sure y'all give y'all love and appreciation to Stefan Leon in the chat for the 10 gifted memberships. I appreciate you, Stefan. It means a lot to me. Round of applause. Big round of applause, man. Big round of applause, man. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody. We're gonna let the membership play out, man. You know, you gotta give the love to the members, man. Shout out to the members. And listen, guys, if you want to become a member on the channel, the link is in the description. It's never mandatory, but it's always, always, always appreciated. And for those that are new here, if you want to sub to the channel, if you enjoy the content, sub to the channel. As you can look through the channel, you see it's a lot of gaming, a lot of streaming, videos here and there, my When Persona Speak series. It's a lot of it's a variety of everything. You know, I try to hit all things because at the end of the day, I am a gaming channel at the core of everything. I am a gaming channel. So shout out to everybody. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody here, man. Big shout out to everybody. Yo, TZ in the building. Shout out to my boy TZ. Appreciate you. Kratos99, Brian Nee. Shout out to everybody. Appreciate you guys. You know, another round of applause, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I really, really do. So that's this side. Now I do want to go to Concord or Firewalk's tweet because they did put out a tweet as well. So we're gonna just read that and then I'm just gonna give my thoughts on everything and we'll talk about it, right? So Firewalk says, Firewalk is signing off one last time. Firewalk began with the idea of bringing the joy of multiplayer to a larger audience. Along the way, we assembled an incredible team who were able to navigate growing a new startup into a team during a global pandemic. Firewalk was founded in 2018 and was very small for its first couple years, only entering full production in 2022. Building a new customized next generation FPS engine in Unreal 4 and then moved to Unreal 5, delivering top tier gameplay, feel, beautiful world, and a performant 60 frames per second technical experience on a stable and scalable backend on PlayStation and PC to hundreds of thousands of players in our beta. Manage an acquisition/integration while readying the technical and preliminary test, and ultimately ship and deliver a great FPS experience to players, even if it landed much more narrowly than hoped against a heavily consolidated market. We took some risk along the way, marrying aspects of card battlers and fighting games with first-person shooters, and although some of these and other aspects of the IP didn't land as we hoped, the idea of putting new things into the world is critical to pushing the medium forward. The talent at Firewalk and the levels of individual craft is truly world-class, and teams within Sony Interactive Entertainment and across the industry will be fortunate to work with them. Please reach out to recruiting at PlayStation for inquiries, and thank you to all the very many teams, partners, and fans who supported us along the way. See you in the Tempest, Firewalk Studios, and Transmission. Sad, man. Absolutely fucking sad, man. This is so sad. Um, yeah. So I think that this is really really sad to see. Regardless of how you may have felt about the game personally, which we're going to get into that separately, but I do think that it is incredibly sad to see a brand new studio like this, like Firewalk, get shut down, their game not see any level of success, and ultimately fail within the general public, and fail with gamers, and not be able to penetrate not just the competitive first person shooter games as a service hero market, but really just penetrate in general and just have some type of staying power. It didn't have any type of staying power. To be shut down in a span of 2 weeks is absolutely mind-blowing. And if you go back to when me and Bari were talking about this on When Persona Speaks, or when I talked about this on earlier episodes of when me and Bari talked about this on What's Up PlayStation podcast, and when I talked about this on earlier episodes of When Persona Speaks, I said, when something a failure of this size, heads are gonna roll. So originally, when Concord failed and they shut it down, I thought there would be a reworking of the studio. Initially, I thought that they would be relegated down. I wanted them to be given a second chance, personally. And I'm on record of saying that. Like, I do think they should be given a second chance, lessons learned, let them lick their wounds, let them obviously grieve and things like that, but give them time and let them get a second chance. Now, that second chance might be a little smaller in terms of budget, but I think they should have been given at least a second chance. They failed. It could have been lessons learned. But the other side of it was, I thought they would also be relegated down to a support studio. You feel me? And support some of the other bigger studios within the PlayStation catalog. And then I said this, that I do think heads were going to roll. I said that and I also thought there would be a strong possibility that the studio would shut down, because when you look at the acquisition itself, you acquire a studio, that's money being spent. Then the money to develop the game, or to sustain the development of the game, or to support the development of the game, and then for the game to be such a monumental failure in such a short amount of time. 2 weeks is absolutely no time. 2 weeks is nothing. You feel me? To be shut down in a span of 2 weeks, and this is me kind of more so looking at things and trying to be a bit more optimistic about it, where I was like, I would hope they would be given a second chance, or even being relegated down to a support studio. At least everyone can still keep their jobs and keep, do what they do. But being shut down was like worst case scenario, and unfortunately, that ended up being a thing, right? I do think, and I've said this before, I do think that there are things that Firewalk Studio and PlayStation did absolutely wrong when it came to Concord. Now, I understand, and listen, I love Concord. I think Concord is a great game. I think it's a great experience. I enjoy it very much so. But, I am on record also saying that there are things that I do think that they should have included in the game when it comes to trying to put out a more complete experience, right? But I also think the marketing, the marketing of the game, and trying to get the mind share out with this game, and it being so tight-lipped. And listen, I hate to say this, man, but we got to talk to PlayStation as well, right? Because this game was shown last May with a teaser trailer at PlayStation Showcase last year. We knew next to nothing about the game. Nothing. All you gave us was a CG trailer, and that was it. Fast forward to a year later, you show us the game, and then it's releasing like a year and a half later, the game's releasing. This marketing, and again, certain games and certain studios, and this is something that I've said as well, certain games and certain studios do not need, I don't want to say do not need, but the rules when it comes to gaming, when it comes to the industry, when it comes to how things are rolled out, when it comes to how they can move, there are certain games where the rules do not apply. What do I mean by that? Where you can have a shorter marketing cycle, you can be a little bit more tight-lipped, you could be a little bit more reserved when it comes to information, and people are still going to be willing and able and listening and looking out for this information, or still looking to get their hands on a game or whatever, because the kind and caliber of studio that's making a game. When you've got a Naughty Dog, a Sony Santa Monica, even a Sucker Punch, right, or Insomniac, those are studios where from a PlayStation first party perspective, those are studios where the rules to a degree do not apply. That doesn't necessarily mean I agree with how they move with marketing that stuff if they do decide to do that, but I'm saying that there are certain rules that do not apply, or where you have more of gamers' mind share, where you don't have to, where PlayStation can kind of get away with doing a shorter marketing cycle or being more tight-lipped, right? From a third-party perspective, the Call of Duties, the GTAs, the sport title, you know, games that have that mind share of the gamers and has a chokehold on the industry. These are people, or excuse me, these are games that can kind of get away with that to a degree. A brand new studio like Firewalk, unproven, a brand new IP, you wanting it to resonate with gamers, you wanting them to get to know these characters and understand this world and kind of dive deep into this world, and you know, you want the game to be supported for a long period of time and get people interested and whatnot. This game should have been being talked about throughout the year of when it was first announced back in 2023, to get people interested, to get the feedback, to get an understanding of like how they can make things change and how they can, because even with what Concord is saying here, full production didn't start until 2022, and then we saw the game in 2023, and then the game released in summer of 2024. That's 2.5 years of a development cycle, and most of that we knew nothing about up until the year the game was announced. The year the game was released. And we didn't even get a beta until a month before the game dropped. That is a huge misstep on PlayStation if you're trying to get the hearts and minds of gamers to get the interest in Concord. This game needed, in my opinion, more time to cook, because as much as I love the vignettes, this should have had a single player campaign as well, or some type of co-op storytelling type of thing that you and a friend or you and a couple friends can play on top of the multiplayer PvP experience, because you're trying to build this story and tell the story of all these characters and get these characters, understand their backgrounds and things like that, which I get. And I thought the vignettes was an interesting concept, an interesting idea, right? But you have to do that stuff a little bit earlier. I think a lot of that was happening too late in the cycle. I think this game definitely should have had at least another year, maybe 2 years to cook, where they could have developed more, created more, tested more. Because if full production didn't happen until 2022, there's not a lot of time between 2022 and 2024 where you can do QA and really get the feedback of the gamers. And then on top of that, who the fuck is QA in this shit? Let's be real. This is why. Hey man, I know a lot of people not gonna like what I'm about to say, man, and that's fine. But I'm always gonna be honest and upfront with you guys. This is why I personally feel like there are people in the room, and I'm not saying developers or even the suits or the executives. I'm talking more so the people that are coming to them to talk to them about what the gamers want. I don't think the right people are in the room. At least not all at once. Not saying everyone is bad. I'm not saying everyone is bad. But what I'm saying is the things that are happening within the industry when it comes to how things are being made, or how feedback is being received. And listen, I get it, man. When it comes to the internet, and a lot of gamers on the internet and dealing with social media and all that, obviously it's hard to find a genuine opinion about something that might be negative, but can be a constructive negative that still has some level of decorum and respect, and isn't just people relegating their responses down to woke trash, DEI and all this stupid shit, man. And that's stuff that I said about Concord when it kind of started to flop and we started to see that, where I said constructive criticism of really like looking at the game, playing the game, having experience with the game, and being able to say, oh yeah, I do think that this, you should change this, you should change that, or maybe this should be done like this, or maybe this should be done like that, right? I do not think, hold on, let me put the chat right here. Put the chat here, so it's all symmetrical, right? So I can just see what you guys are saying while I'm talking, because I'm cooking right now. So you feel me? I want to be able to make sure I see what y'all saying while I cook. But I don't think the right people are in the rooms, man. Not all the time. And I think this is also I also think this is a issue that really needs to be looked at, right? Because if the right people are not in the rooms to really give the constructive criticism, and here's the thing, you got to look at the devs and the suits as well to a degree. I'm not absolving the devs or the suits, because you still have to be able to look and take that criticism and be able to take that in and make changes, come back with something new or something changed, and get more feedback. So obviously it's a double-edged sword with that. I'm not saying it's the people in the room that's giving the feedback are the problem and not the developers and the suits. I'm saying it's a combination of everything, right? It's a combination of everything, right? But I do think that the feedback that's being given, I need to know what kind of feedback was given to this game. Because if I was somebody that played Concord and was able to test this game, QA this game, and give feedback, one of the feedbacks I would have give was, I think you should not release this in 2024, and instead I think you should take another year or two and add on at least a co-op experience to this, so that you can capture the hearts and minds of everybody and be able to really have some type of staying power. Because if you have people who might not necessarily play the multiplayer side of it, at least they still have the co-op side of things, where you can tell those stories through the vignettes or whatever the case may be, and then you can use that as your monthly or weekly or bi-weekly, where you can release a brand new vignette and it be something that's playable, and that keeps people coming back. Kind of like what Astrobot is doing with the speedrun levels, right? Every week they're releasing a new speedrun level where you can save bots. That's keeping people coming back, and it's got trophies attached to it that you can earn and whatever. I think that with that type of approach, now it would have been more work, it would have been more time, it probably would have required more developers. But if the idea is that you want Concord to be a success, if the idea is that you want Concord to have that staying power and penetrate the games as a service market, I think it's very, very, very important that you look at things holistically to have that staying power. That's what I would have told them. And again, I think the gameplay for Concord is absolutely great. I don't got no water either. This how you know I just came home. I just came home and booted up. I ain't got my water or nothing to drink with me. Yo, put a 1 in the chat if y'all don't mind me getting something to drink. I need something to drink because I'm talking a lot and I need something to drink while I talk. What was I saying? So yeah, like, when it comes to that, the right people have to be in the room giving the right criticism. But I do think that the developers in the suits, also have to take that criticism and be able to make change from it. It's a double-edged sword. Yo, Barry said, I mind. The hell with y'all, man. Reese the Beast, what's good, man? Yo, shout out to y'all, man. Yo, give me 2 seconds. Let me get something to drink real quick. Your boy I'm talking a lot, so I need to make sure that I'm good. So give me a second, man. I'll be right back. 1 second, guys. He said, forget your water. Yo, shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to the chat, man. Your boy got the water. I got my water. Yeah, I got a bottle of water. A bottle of water. That's how you say it in the UK, right? A bottle of water. Where J Gamer UK? I know he about to get at me.
That's not how you say it, Persona. A bottle of water.
Anyway, like I was saying, so I think it's that. Now, I think when it comes to I think when it comes to Concord in itself, from my perspective, I do think Concord was a great, like a fun game. I had a lot of fun with Concord. I streamed it a lot. You know, I do think the gameplay was interesting. I think the characters were interesting. There was really some cool characters and things like that. You know, I do think that for me personally, I think I put almost 100 hours in Concord. I tried to get the platinum. I couldn't get it, you know, before they shut it down. But there were definitely, you know, a lot of aspects of Concord that I really enjoyed, and I thought it was a really fun game. Now, obviously, for the masses, here's the thing about that too, honestly. A lot of people didn't play it. Even the beta's numbers weren't even that high. Like, you know, there wasn't a lot of interest around this, just period. Not even in the beta. So like, a lot of people that are like shitting on this game, we know have not played the game. Because the beta numbers and the beta and then the full release, pause, it dictates that. It proves that point. So all of this, oh well, you know, a lot of people didn't play it, so they don't know what the fuck going on. But everybody got an opinion though. Everybody got an opinion, but you ain't played the shit. That's all I'm saying. But I do think that it sucks that Concord and Firewalk Studios is being shut down. Yo, Upchuck Gaming, what's good, man? Philip, shout out to everybody here, man. TZ, shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate everybody here. Harlem, what's good, man? Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody here, man. Appreciate y'all. We need to preach it at the pulpit, not in the kitchen. Yo, Reese, you funny. So, you know, that's really where I sit, right? Now, I got to get at PlayStation, man. Now we got to talk about PlayStation. Oh, Ice Queen, I know you heard that. Bottle of water. Shout out to the UK. Shout out to the UK men's them. Evolution, what's good? Here's the other side of it. Here's the other side of things as well, right? When it comes to PlayStation. I gotta be honest, man. PlayStation's live service push has been absolutely terrible since the start of this generation, since the start of this initiative. They've been moving hella funny with this. They've been having a lot of mishaps and misses, and it's so weird because you acquired Bungie for $3.2 billion, and they were supposed to help guide you through this live service push and guide you and act as a committee when it comes to these live service games. I don't know what the fuck Bungie has done, but clearly it ain't for the better, because Bungie's house and their kitchen is all muddy and dirty and needs to be cleaned up, right? They're failing and not hitting sales targets and all this crazy shit that's going on with Bungie. Then you look at PlayStation, and PlayStation canceled, Factions was canceled, and obviously, you know, we know why, with, you know, Neil not wanting to be a dedicated live service studio, blah blah blah, whatever. But the fact is, it's canceled. It's done. It's not happening. Firewalk shuts down. Neil Coy shuts down. Delays. London Studio shut down. What was the other studio that shut down? And London Studio was making a live service multiplayer, a live service co-op fantasy RPG or something like that. Since this whole initiative, it's been shutdowns and delays. And then PlayStation, when it comes to the games that you want to see from PlayStation, they're not showing you nothing. Or they're being tight-lipped. My thing is, the more that happens when it comes to PlayStation's live service push, the less, when it comes to the shutdowns, the cancellations, the whatever, the layoffs, all of it that's happening, it dwindles the good faith that they have in gamers when it comes to that live service. I gotta be honest. PlayStation, You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. But I feel like PlayStation really does not know what the hell they're doing when it comes to live service. And yes, this might be a new venture for them, but PlayStation is not someone that doesn't know how to make multiplayer games. Now, games as a service is a different beast, a different animal, whatever. But even within that genre, you've got so many examples of live service games that have done good, live service games that have failed, why they failed, and things like that. But games as a service, live service, it's a lightning in a bottle. It's something that it's hard to predict how the community is going to gravitate, right? Because, and I'll use Helldivers 2 as the example. Helldivers 1 didn't sell not even a fraction of what Helldivers 2 has sold. And before Helldivers 2 released last year, people were shitting on Helldivers 2. You would have thought Helldivers 2 was going to fail as well if you looked at how people were talking about it on social media and in videos and all this other stuff. And yes, there was excitement. Yes, people were looking forward to the game, wanting to play and things like that. But if you would have looked at social media, there was not a lot of buzz or a lot of hype around Helldivers 2 before it launched. One, it got delayed out of 2023 and became an early 2024 title. But even with that delay and everything that had happened, there still wasn't a lot of excitement around Helldivers 2. Fast forward to when Helldivers released in early 2024, it released and has saw immense success, selling upwards of 12 plus million copies. And it's probably at like 13, 14, or 15 million at this point, because when you look at NPDs and all these other different charts, it's still charting. So I would argue it's probably 13, 14 million or even 15 million at this point. It's still very popular and people are still playing the game. But then you fast forward to the summer and PlayStation has one of the biggest failures within not just their career, within their lifespan, within doing gaming, but I would say in the history of games. 2 weeks live service game gets shut down. That's how volatile and unpredictable live service gaming is. And to want to continuously keep trying to do that, because you're trying to build other revenue streams, and we've already had that conversation and talked about it, so it is what it is. But to continuously do that and want to keep going back into this and keep trying to make it again. Yo, Otaku Shaku, what's good? Appreciate you. Das Mises, gaming since '88. Shout out to everybody here, man. Justin, local Bellis, what's up? Shout out to everybody here. To keep wanting to go back into this and keep wanting to make live service games, you have to holistically look at the situation and really, I'll put it like this. PlayStation, I personally think to some degree they're going to have to dig in their IP bag. And what do I mean by that? They may need to go to some of their old school IPs that people are begging for and create one as a live service. Or like SOCOM, Resistance, whatever, something that's got some multiplayer to it. I do think that's something they could do. But even with that, there's no telling that would be a success, because again, how volatile this market is. It's such a volatile market. Even if you were, because I see people online, they bring back Killzone, bring back Last of Us, bring back SOCOM and this and that, right? As much as people are begging for that shit, there's no telling that will be a success. It's not a guarantee that that's going to be a success. Why? Oh, well, it's SOCOM. It has to be successful, right? People love SOCOM. People love this. People are begging for these games, which is true. But people that are begging for those are people that have grown up with PlayStation. And I think PlayStation, and this is what I think how they're looking at it. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm saying that I think this is how they might be looking at it. PlayStation might be looking at those old IPs and and probably having a conversation of how can we make this old IP relatable to today's market. Unfortunately, today's market is not you or me. The 30-something-year-old, 40 or 50-something-year-old gamer that grew up with PlayStation, right? That's been playing PlayStation since PS1, right? Who knows all of these characters and these legacy games and IPs and things like that. PlayStation might be looking at those and saying, can we bring this to modern audiences and have it have staying power? Can we create something that can be a success in today's market? That might be what PlayStation is asking themselves. Now, for you or me, in our minds, we're saying, bring it back because this is great. You know, this is great. You know, we want these games back or whatever. But the 20-something-year-old gamer, the 15-something-year-old gamer might not give a shit. And even if it comes out, they might look at it and think, oh, why play this when I can play COD or I can play this or that or whatever. That's what PlayStation might be looking at that and saying, and why we're not seeing those games come back. I don't agree with that. I don't think they should. I think they should still bring these games back, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is a conversation that they're having behind the scenes as well. Because PlayStation's got a very deep catalog of games. Sorry, ambulance.
Not the ambulance. That meant ambulance, man. Meant the ambulance. What you doing, meant the ambulance?
I don't know if y'all can hear the ambulance or not. That's the ambulance. Sorry about that. Yo, DC, what's up? Typhoon, what's good? But what was I gonna say? If PlayStation is thinking that way, and this again, all of this is hypothetical. I'm just kind of like spitballing, right? But you know, it's a conversation, so you know, we're gonna vibe out. If PlayStation is thinking that way when it comes to their legacy IPs, I would imagine that from where I sit, and again, I'm on the outside looking in, but creating a new IP has to be 10 times harder because you have to build something. That shit is loud as fuck in my ear. Jenna, I appreciate you for the super chat. Sony, invite Persona and Barry to shape the future. Yo, I appreciate you, Jenna, rocking out with me. I appreciate that, honestly. But creating a brand new IP is that much harder because you have to create something from the ground up that has staying power, that has Foxing Around, what's good? That has appeal, that can appeal to the masses, that can grab the attention of not just the older gamer or the legacy players of PlayStation, but more importantly, and I hate to say this, but I think we all can agree here, more importantly, grab the younger gamers as well. It's got to be something that's got to grab the younger audience. That's what PlayStation is chasing, and that is what's funding this live service, games as a service genre. It's a lot of the younger gamers. Who the fuck you think playing Fortnite and all that shit? It's the young crowd that's paying for the microtransactions and this and generating billions and billions of dollars, and you see all these stupid dances and all this stuff that they do. That's not to appeal to me or you. That's appeal to the younger crowd. And I think PlayStation has shifted their focus to that, at least when it comes to this live service push. But the way that they're going about doing things, I do not think is right, and I think it's staining the good graces that gamers, regardless of age, have with giving them a chance when it comes to live service. You're just muddying up, and I hate to say this as well, but this whole live service push is also muddying up PlayStation's legacy in general. Not even just from a live service perspective, but just PlayStation's perception or how people perceive PlayStation going into the future in general. These closures, these layoffs, these failures, this becomes more and more of a stain on PlayStation's overall legacy. It sucks. I don't like it. It's bullshit. And the more failures that continue to happen and pile up, and when you look at how PlayStation is moving, we're getting less of everything, especially from the console perspective. You're getting less of everything, less games, less announcements, less showcases, less and less and less, but you're still paying more and more and more and more and more and more and more. Yo, Gamer Boy, what up? Outside Gamer Night, what up? Mac the Stampede, what up? If you are trying to take people away from a product and try to lure them with a worse product, that ain't it. I agree. PlayStation. Here's my thing. Going forward, PlayStation needs to be. They need to be more. They need to get the community more involved. And I'm speaking from a live service perspective. Live service. Yo, Forget Me or Not, what's up? PlayStation needs to get the community, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, by the way. This is just how I feel. PlayStation needs to get the community more involved in their live service push and initiative. What do I mean by that? You need to have more than one beta a month before a game drops. You need to do betas much earlier than that, especially if you're trying to gauge the interest in the game, especially if it's a new IP. You need to get more people that have their ear closer to the gamer, and gamers of all ages, right? Not just, older gamers, but obviously you want people that are younger, or can relate to that younger crowd to also come in and look at these games. Because let's face it, guys, right? For a lot of us, we are the dinosaurs of gaming now, right? We aren't the target audience on a lot of things that these suits or game or developers are doing when it comes to the games that they're creating, right? The appeal is to a younger crowd, or the appeal is to different crowds of people, or more people that might not necessarily align with you and align with what you may like when it comes to video games. That stuff is changing. It's rapidly changing. So in order to kind of capture everybody, or to at least be able to create something that can be widely adopted or widely enjoyed, you have to have different subsets of people, and different people that have their ear to the ground, that can really come in, look at something, and give great, good, constructive feedback and criticism that could be for the better. And this is the thing, even if that's being done, it's still no guarantee that the game will be a success, because again, when you're dealing with live service, that is just the volatility and the nature of that part of the industry. You've got games and studios and stuff like that that look good in concept, that when it's finally brought and put out there, it fails miserably, or it does, and again, the other side of it, developers have to be able to sustain that and support that and keep that going. There's a lot that goes into live service, and I think PlayStation really is starting to get their rude awakening when it comes to this live service push. Because even when they first announced this, when Jim Ryan and team first announced this, back in, 2021, 2022, 2020, 2021, around that time, they were talking 12 live service games and this and that. They quickly realized that shit ain't happening. They dwindled that 12 down to 6, and now we're starting to see failures after failures, cancellations after cancellations. PlayStation has to really start to look at this live service push that they're saying that they want to do. They're going to have to really look at this and really understand that to support this, to sustain this, you're going to need the bodies, you're going to need the money, and you're going to need to capture lightning in a bottle. Sustain. Live service is all about a great live service game from where I sit. Again, this is just me. Great gameplay. That the gameplay has to be so good that if you're playing the same content, you don't mind, because the gameplay is that good. The gameplay plays a big part in a player coming back and the replayability. Now, with Concord, well, it's funny because Concord I think had great gameplay, but people didn't like the characters and things like that. I think the characters and character design and stuff like that is also very important when it comes to like these live services, depending on what you're doing, right? But I do think that the content, replayability, gameplay, those things are pivotal to a successful live service game. And PlayStation has to look at these failures, and I'm sure they are. I mean, listen, it's PlayStation, so I'm sure they're looking at their stuff. But they need to look at these failures, and they seriously need to take a step back and really look at this and say, how much of this do we really want to continue to keep investing in? And how do we want to move going forward when it comes to live service? And honestly, I do think they should dig in that legacy bag and bring one of those legacy titles back in a live service, games as a service format. And listen, live service doesn't just mean multiplayer, right? At least from where I sit, co-op experiences, multiplayer PvP experiences, story-based content that you can play with friends that can continually be updated and evolved upon and whatnot. Like kind of like what Ghost of Tsushima Legends was. You could play, you and a friend was playing, going through like story missions, and it told a story and things like that. PlayStation has to figure out how to capture those type of experiences, and I feel like they can do that with one of their legacy titles, but it also be something that also grabs the newer audience as well. That's what PlayStation to figure out. I don't get paid to figure that shit out. Now, if PlayStation want to come to me and pay me, we could brainstorm and figure shit out. You feel me? You gonna have to throw your boy a check though. You heard? But I feel like they could bring back a legacy title, and that also, and it be built within a live service games as a service format, and it see some type of success. But PlayStation really needs to look at these live service games, and they seriously need to reprioritize how they're doing this and really get serious about it, and like understand like, yo, look, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot you're gonna have to make put up. There's a lot you're gonna have to develop and support and all these other different things, and you have to walk away with the understanding that even if I do everything right on the back end, it's still no guarantee that this game will be a success. And that's just the nature of games as a service, live service games. That's just the nature of it. Because contrary to popular belief, live service games within itself is a saturated market. There are so many live service games as a service, free to play, shovelware bullshit that just keeps releasing. That's a saturated market in itself. But I feel like PlayStation's focus is shifting. This is me like really like speaking. Let me speak from the heart real quick. Shout out to my boy Bari. I'm gonna speak from the heart real quick. I don't like PlayStation's shift and focus being so far into this live service. We're getting more live service shit than single player stuff from PlayStation specifically. And when it comes to the announcements, when it comes to just how they're moving, I don't like none of it, man. I don't like none of it, man. Features being removed, price increases, cancellation of games, shutting down the studios, laying people off. This ain't the PlayStation I'm used to. This ain't the PlayStation I'm accustomed to. This some funky shit. PlayStation, fix it. Now, I gotta be honest. Their live service push for me right now, my faith in their live service push is shaken. I don't have faith right now that PlayStation can deliver a quality live service game or experience because of the failures that we continuously see from them with this, the cancellations. Now, I hope they prove me wrong, right? But as of right now, my faith in the live service is not there. Yo, LD50, what up? It's less of everything. and it's something that I'm not feeling. I'm not feeling from PlayStation. I think that they need to take a step back, and they need to reevaluate, man. And I'm sure this is stuff they're probably doing already, right? But you know, we're having a conversation, so I'm just giving you my thoughts on how I feel, you know, things should go. I'm not feeling this, man. I'm not liking this. I'm not liking how they moving. I'm not liking these cancellations, these shutdowns. And yo, be more careful. What up? I think when it comes to Firewalk, like I said, I feel for them. I hope that, you know, they all can land on their feet. When it comes to Concord, I think Concord, for what it was a fun game. I legit had fun with Concord. I did. But I do think that there were things that just were not done efficiently and optimally to ensure the success of this game. And I do think the game should have had more time to cook in the oven, at least another 2 years, right? And this worries me when it comes to fair games at Marathon, because, you know, one's an extraction shooter, or both of them are, one's a heist game, one's an extraction shooter. One is from an unproven studio, right? Shout out to Jade Raymond, but Haven Studio is a brand new studio with an unproven track record, and this is their first game. If this fails, they're going to get shut down too. And we haven't seen much of anything from Fair Games, but they need to, and again, this goes back to what I'm saying with Concord. Don't do the same thing with Concord. Don't do the same thing with Fair Games that you did with Concord. Get the community involved. Get those early betas out there. Start showing off more of the game so that you can gauge the community's reaction and go from there. You can't be tight-lipped, because this is a brand new studio from a brand new game from an unproven studio, and it's a brand new IP looking to penetrate the games as a service, live service market. Get that information out there. We don't know shit about the game. If you don't want this to repeat, PlayStation, I know you listen to PlayStation. If you don't want this shit to repeat again, the next reveal needs to be you talking about Fair Games in a very detailed fashion. Those characters, that world, what you're gonna do. And if it's looking bare bones like Concord, you might want to let that cook in the oven as well. Because I hate to say this, you might get the same thing with Fair Games that you got with Concord. Get the community involved now. Get the information out there. Show the game off. Put the info out there. PlayStation, I don't get why you so fucking quiet. I don't get it. Put the information out there. Put the gameplay, you put it out there. You gotta put this stuff out there, man. Because if you don't, how are people gonna resonate with the characters, resonate with the game? Look forward to the game. We don't know shit. Nobody knows nothing. And you can't expect everybody to just give you this good graces because you're PlayStation. Or because we make the best, most high quality games. It doesn't matter. If you want to penetrate that younger market, if you want to penetrate the game and the games as a service, Fair Games, you need to start talking about that shit right now. Right now. And if it's coming out next year, depending on how it's looking, especially if we're looking at Concord, you might want to internally delay that. Internally delay the game right now. If it's looking like Concord, internally delay it. Straight up, internally delay that game. Because I hate to say this, but you might have a repeat. And then Marathon, Bungie has lost a lot of the good graces from a lot of people. Listen, Bungie used to be a very highly, yo, Damien, what's good? Bungie, what did I say? What was pause? Wait, what was pause? Hold on, I was cooking right now. So somebody tell me what the pause was. What was the pause? Somebody tell me. I don't know what the pause was. I missed it. What was the pause? Somebody in the chat tell me what the pause was. What was the pause? You said penetrating the come on. Y'all know what I mean. Oh my God, pause, man. Listen, breaking into listen, trying to make games that appeal to a younger crowd. Lord have mercy. Y'all in the chat so immature. Y'all so childish. Shout out to the chat, man. I appreciate y'all, man. Yo, that's crazy too. Now I'm thinking about it, that shit is definitely pause, man. Pause all that shit. Crazy. What the hell? Yo, Corey, what's good, bro? Hey, yo, get out of here, Zero Steel. Crazy. Anyway, like I was saying, when it comes to Marathon, Bungie has lost a lot of the good graces of gamers. Like, a lot of good graces with Bungie has dwindled up significantly. So when it comes to oh no, listen, yo, Master C, I don't know what you persona environment person. Yo, Master C, yo, you know where you at, fool? You think the mods ain't gonna get your ass up out of here? You are crazy, boy. Hey, yo, listen, it's okay to disagree with me. If people disagree with me in the chat, I think that's perfectly fine. I actually welcome it, right? The mod's not gonna get at you if you disagree, as long as you disagree respectfully. But talking that crazy shit in the chat, the mod's gonna get you, my boy. The mod's gonna, listen, the one thing the mod's not gonna do, the mod's not gonna let you disrespect the chat, and the mod's damn sure ain't gonna let you disrespect me. That ain't gonna happen, brother. I just let you know. You can disagree with me all you want, but the mods ain't gonna let you disrespect your boy. Trust. Shout out to the mods, man. I got the best mods in the world, man. They always out here doing what they do, man. I appreciate the mods. I appreciate the chat. I appreciate everybody that rocks out with your boy Persona. I appreciate y'all. Anyway, like I was saying, when it comes to Concord, when it comes to Marathon, Bungie has lost the good graces of a lot of gamers with the failures, with the bad releases, with the layoffs, all that stuff, right? They still got a little bit of it left, right? But Marathon as well, you know, we heard about how Marathon wasn't internally, people weren't feeling it or whatever the case may be. Who knows? You know, Bungie has a lot of experience in this live service realm, so they may be able to navigate that, all right? But also, because of who Bungie is, a lot of people are going to give them a little bit more flack or give it a chance or be more open-minded and willing to give it a chance because of who Bungie is or was or whatever the case may be. So there's a lot of eyes on Marathon, but Marathon as well could potentially be a failure as well. I hope it isn't, right? I hope none of these games that PlayStation is putting out fail. Like, honestly, like, I don't want nothing to fail, but we have to look at this situation right now. PlayStation's live service push is not looking good at all. It's looking real spooky, real shaky, and this is shaking the faith of a lot of gamers. Yo, I want to read this comment real quick. I want to read this comment from this dude, right? I want to read this. Let me see. How do I zoom? Oh, this is how you zoom? I want to read this comment real quick from this dude, because this is actually funny, right? And normally I wouldn't entertain this, but I want to talk about this. So let's read this comment real quick, right? I'm gonna read this comment from this dude real quick. The dude that got timed out, right? Because this is actually really funny to me, right? So Master C, who you know, his messages got deleted because he's saying F Bari, F Persona, you know, boo hoo.
F Barry, X Persona. Mom! I'm on YouTube right now talking shit in a YouTube chat. Mom, come look. Mom, I'm talking shit on YouTube, Mom.
Anyway, but this comment here is very interesting to me, right? So it says, Persona, you and Bari are responsible for this. For the constant pandering and overhyping the devs. Bunch of clowns. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves. What? Constant pandering and overhyping the devs? What the hell are you talking about? Overhyping what? What was being overhyped? Playing a game and finding joy in a game is overhyping it? Even though me and Bari were being very critical of Concord as well? Overhyping it? Pandering to developers? How? How are you pandering to developers when Bari and I on both WUPs, in my review, in his review, in Spaces, on Twitter, we're very critical of Concord. I said the game is fun, it's got interesting characters, but it does fall short in some areas. But I still find joy and fun out of Concord. And I actually played the game. A lot, actually. I streamed it a lot on my channel and played it a lot. So what's being overhyped, Master C? Who's pandering? Pandering would be me telling the developers that everything is okay. Don't change a thing. Don't change a thing. Everything is perfect, Firewalk. You're perfect. Don't change anything. No, I told them, and I was honest. The game is fun, which it is. It has great gameplay, which it does. It's a well-polished game, which it is. But it fell short in some areas. Master C, how's that pandering?
Mom! Mom, I'm on YouTube! I'm talking shit! Come look, Mom! Mom!
Who's pandering? Come on. Do y'all know what the definition of the words are that y'all be saying? Y'all be saying some stupid shit. And I feel like y'all don't be knowing what the fuck y'all talking about, man. Pandering. Who the fuck is pandering? What are you talking about? What's wrong with y'all, man? What's wrong with y'all, man? Y'all need some help. Y'all need help, man. But yo, some people don't know what the word pandering means. That's what I'm saying. Like, do people know what the word pandering means? Can't keep their bullshit together from one comment to the next. That's what I'm saying. Come on now, Master C. Don't be an idiot. Use your brain. But yeah, man, listen, at the end of the day, you know, what's going on with Concord, what has happened with Firewalk, and, you know, the failures and everything that's happened, man. I just, you know, I think it sucks, man. I think it really does suck. I hate that Firewalk failed. I hate that I hate that Concord failed. I hate that Firewalk got shut down. And, you know, I really do hope that people land on their feet. I enjoyed Concord, man. I thought it was a fun game. I thought it was fun for what it was. It had its issues, but I do think it was fun. I had fun in Concord. Like I legit did have fun. I had fun in Concord. You know, so I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to find that's the thing about trying to find stuff from drop their first impressions on Concord beta. Oh, we did a first impressions? Oh, we did, didn't we? Let me see. Not review impressions. You're right. Whoops impressions. Whoops impressions.
We can call it beta.
A beta. But yeah, man, listen. So me and Bari are here, man, and we're gonna be talking about Concord. The Concord beta, early access beta, did come out this weekend, and me and Bari have been playing it hardcore. So we're definitely gonna give our thoughts and impressions on the beta, give our thoughts and impressions on the characters, the gunplay, the maps, all of it. We're gonna break it down and kind of talk about a little bit about the discourse as well that we've kind of been seeing surrounding Concord and the beta and whatnot. But before we get into anything, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Hey man, listen, I don't know who these WUPs dudes are, these WUPs boys. These some good looking fellas, man. I ain't gonna lie. These WUPs boys these WUPs boys some good looking fellas. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just saying. I don't know who these what's up PlayStation dudes are. They some good looking fellas. If I do say so myself, some good looking dudes. Shit. I'm just saying. Video out. And if you want to, man, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Man.
Really? The bug, the seedling. Just didn't really seem like a character that really would gel too well with me personally, where I'm just like, more situational, more of like that's more of like an objective based character.
But yeah, you ain't getting that buff.
Same thing with Baz. You know, I tried Baz as well. I'm trying to find like where
Oh, another big one. Keep us in queue within the game modes.
Yo, please. Oh, okay. This is where I think this is where we start talking about our negatives. Yeah, okay.
I'm like, what's going on here, man? A little too much auto tracking when it comes to the projectiles. Also, I'm not sure. Like,
I'm not sure I agree with that 100% because there's been times where like, especially if I'm playing as Linux, where I'm running around shooting an enemy, and if they strafing, the bullets sometimes ain't hitting. So I don't know. I think it might be situational, but I'm not experiencing that as much.
You going? See, I see the line. I see the line, man, and it's crazy.
Okay.
Another thing. I think tank characters are super OP, and what makes tank characters super OP is like I feel like the healing stations. There's something they got to do to balance that out. Because what a lot of people are doing is that they will pick like 2 tank characters, especially if they're like a party, and they will camp around the heal station. Meanwhile, the heal station. Oh, another big one. Keep us in queue. One of multiplayer games, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why developers keep doing it, because when they do it, I know why they do it, because they're trying to protect, the less skilled individual. Right there.
Yep.
I think I need to get implemented. Another thing too. Persona.
Uh-oh. I think I know what he's gonna say.
Too loud.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yo, listen, bro. Talk about it. Is this us being critical of Concord? Or we're pandering? Man, talk. I agree.
What you think?
No, I agree. Listen, I bunny hop a lot. I do a double jump. I'm trying to find yeah, I got motherfuckers talking like that when it comes to these online games. Implement that stuff, man. I feel like that stuff should be implemented in all multiplayer games.
Kill cam should be implemented. You got to have that so you can.
Again, this is us being critical.
See what the enemy's doing or how. Kill the TTK is super high.
Yep.
We playing open beta, but we'll see what open beta when more people get to play it.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially with a lot of the negatives. I definitely agree. So for this game, or this beta, I should say, I mean, I guess you can't put a score to it, but I guess, well, let me ask this. Would you, after playing for so long, would you recommend this game? Would you recommend this game or this beta to people?
Yeah, I highly recommend it. I think it's a fun game to play. It has a character for anyone, especially when you find your character and you can vibe with that. I say like try to find like a good like 2-3 characters. When you can find a character in this vibe, man, you have a lot of fun with the game. I do feel like there's a lot of potential there. I just hope that, they do listen to like the real constructive criticism from the community, so the longevity of the game could be there. I would love to be playing Concord, a year, 2 years down the line. But
I'm sorry, Barry, but that ain't gonna happen. Hey, yo, Barry in the past, I'm Persona from the future, and I'm here to let you know that shit ain't happening, brother. I get what you. If only we could go back in time. I wish I could go. I wish I was the Flash right now, because this is some Flashpoint level shit. I'd go back to. Remember back in Justice League when that dream sequence with Bruce, where Flash went back in time. He was like, Bruce, you were right. It happens. It gets destroyed. You were right, Bruce. I'd run back to the past and I'd say, Barry, you were wrong. That shit gets shut down.
But I feel like with some of this stuff implemented now, I feel like that longevity will be there. But we do have a beta. We're giving the feedback. They listen to the feedback. We're in there like swimwear.
Yeah.
If you don't listen to the feedback and you're stuck in your ways, the game is not going to last too long.
Yeah. I agree. I definitely recommend it. Try it. Try it and play and see if it's something that you can vibe with, especially if you're somebody that like to play shooters. Again, nobody here is saying that you have to play Concord. Try it for yourself and play it. That was the sentiments with being Barry always with this game. We were very critical. We were very constructive in our criticisms on what we felt needed to change in terms of the gameplay, multiplayer, and things like that, for it to be a little bit more of a viable multiplayer experience in terms of how me and Barry's experience with multiplayer games and or even hero shooters. I think there's a character out there for everybody in this game. I do think. Last thing, Barry, let's get into the discourse. There's definitely a lot of negativity surrounding Concord, and there's people not feeling it, which is their prerogative. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you definitely see that there's a lot of people who aren't really giving the game a chance, but then are downplaying the game. Kind of talk to me about a lot of the negativity of what you've been seeing when it comes to Concord, because one thing I said, that boy Persona, that Persona right there, that man know how to ask some good interview style questions, man. Your boy question game is on point. My setups is, that Persona, I put my name is Persona too, but I don't know who that is. But that Persona right there, that's a good looking brother too. You understand? I like these cats, these Wups boys. I don't know who these cats are. I'm glad I found their channel. I've seen some of your tweets, what you've been saying and whatnot, and I agree a lot with it, man. So kind of, start us off and just break down what you've been seeing personally when it comes to Concord and the discourse.
Yeah, like personally, I just see a lot of people that confess their love that they hate to play live service games on multiplayer games, bashing the game. Like, yeah, no duh, sure. Like we know you're gonna bash the game. You already confessed to everyone that you hate these type of games. I feel like in the community, a lot of people strive and push for new IPs and innovation.
Killer Cam, what up?
And when we do get something new and different, even though there's a lot of similarities to some games, with this game, it is a new IP, and they're doing something really different when it comes to the narrative push. When it comes to this online game, reality, people don't want that. They either want the old game that they were once good at, or something like that, or they want the game to be, the popular game that they probably don't play anyway. That's a lot of stuff that I'm seeing is like, okay, this game came out. I see people bringing up stuff like Resistance and SOCOM and Killzone. I'm like, you never can be satisfied, with a new game coming out because you just want the old game. But when the old game is not coming out or the new game is not coming out, everybody want a new IP or something. It's just strange to me. Like, also, I feel like a lot of people that's giving opinions, especially on the negative side of the game. I'm not discounting any negative opinions overall, but some of the negative opinions, they haven't really put any time into the game. An online game, it don't matter what. Nobody tells me you cannot base an opinion for an online game that's playing 1-2 matches. That's ludicrous to me. I do feel like it does take time because there's so much dynamic elements that happens in the online game. A lot of variables. Every player play different. You might be playing on a map. You might be doing something, but there's so much variables that happen. So much, dynamic play that happens. How you started there can change definitely how you level up and how you earn or gain a knowledge of stuff. So just playing 2 matches, you barely played anything in an online game. But yeah, I'm not saying that this game is perfect. It definitely, we just did 20 minutes or so on feedback and gripes and cons. But yeah, you just gotta play the game. I don't understand what people really want from PlayStation, because they say
one thing I'm noticing too, I'm looking at myself now and looking at like past Persona, like, because I've been, my weight training regimen has been crazy lately, guys. So, your boy, listen, man, your boy out here kind of, the shoulders and everything much more broad now. You understand? The physique is much more better. Persona look good there too. I ain't gonna lie. But the physique here, you feel me? The weight training is definitely on point. But shout out to Persona here too.
They want certain things, but when they get it, it's back to, where's this old game? Where's this obscure game that I never played back in the day, but I think people were like, it's just weird to me, man. I'm not saying you have to like the game either. If you don't like it, don't vibe with it. If hero shooters is not your thing, we know your opinion is not your thing. But I do feel like as a hero shooter and somebody that's very critical when it comes to hero shooters, this game specifically, they definitely have something here where the game is fun. I don't think the balance is super off like other games, like X Defiant, right? Not to bring X Defiant. X Defiant, the balance is haywire over there.
Crazy.
Certain characters is just way OP. Where, yeah, as much as I think like, there's characters that's way better, like Lennox and, Tio, you can still be very viable with the other characters. I just feel like you just gotta loosen up, or gain a little bit more traction as far as the balance when it comes to the high tier characters. But yeah, the discourse is the norm that we see with people that hate online games. They don't want to see online games. They want the single player game, so they're going to do everything in their power to bash out of the game. And it's PlayStation. So.
Yeah. That is PlayStation. Yeah, you've been kind of following it a little bit more closely than I have, obviously, so I can't really speak too much about it. But from the stuff that have seen from the time I was on Twitter and whatnot, I do think that it's the typical of what we tend to see when it comes to social media, when it comes to games, when it comes to people, things people dislike or don't really want to give a chance because they already have, their Which is true. You know, part of Concord's, its failure is, again, a lot of it is on Firewalk, Sony. Like, I'm not saying that it's not. But, again, I think part of their failure was connecting with some of the more widespread audience within the community. But then again, that preconceived hate that we tend to always see when it comes to certain things that people just automatically dislike for whatever reason, because they think it's woke trash, DEI. That was a lot of the discourse that I was seeing online, right? Who's this for? Who asked for this? This looks like woke trash. This is DEI. Where are the white people? It was all this crazy stuff that was being talked about online. And obviously the online isn't the entire world, right? So obviously from one side of it, when you look at from the social media or the online perspective, it wasn't resonating for whatever reason, right? But then when you look at the greater gaming community that aren't necessarily as connected to online gaming or online social media or whatever the case may be, the game just did not resonate with people. It did not resonate. Like we have to look at that, admit that. Like, it just did not resonate with people. Part of it, I think, has to do with such a short marketing cycle, such a short, such a limited understanding of like what the game is, who the characters are, not really giving people enough time to resonate with those characters and connect with them and things like that. It's just a lot of stuff that was just messed up when it came to Concord and its rollout and whatnot. But at the end of the day, man, this has happened. We have to, look and see how PlayStation is going to move going forward. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Fair Games and Haven Studio, what happens with Marathon and whatever other live service push that PlayStation has, right? It'll be interesting to see how those things play out and like how those things, what the success of those will be. I hope those games do see some success, right? But at the end of the day, Firewalk being shut down, that absolutely hurts. It sucks to see. I hope the developers can, land on their feet. PlayStation, I do hope that you can look at this, look at your catalog, look at what you have down the pipeline, and be able to effectively review, discern, and really put a lot of time, effort, and thought into whatever live service push you have left that you are going to do if you want to see some level of success. But I think you also need to understand that regardless of what push you have, even if it's for the better, that does not necessarily mean that you will see success. But I do think that you do need to give certain games more time to cook. I do think 2 weeks is entirely too short for Concord, right? Although the launch was very, very lackluster, I still think 2 weeks is entirely too short. Like, we couldn't even get to season 1, right? Because people tend to look at games and when a new season comes out and may give it a chance from that or whatever the case may be. Also, these games being free to play, I need y'all to stop that. I need y'all to cut that bullshit out right now. This game being free to play or any of these other games being free to play does not ensure its success either, right? That's one thing y'all need to stop as well, because that's complete bullshit. There's free to play games that have failed tremendously as well. Cut the bullshit out. But listen, that's the show, guys. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, it's not going to be a super long show, but I did want to give my thoughts out there and kind of just talk about a lot of what's been going on with this and whatnot, right? So I want to know why I should be hyped for Fair Games or Marathon if Sony isn't willing to give the games a chance. That's a great question, Gamer Boy. But see, PlayStation has done that to themselves, right? With the shutdowns, with the lack of marketing and really trying to put effort and time into these games. That is something that's now being fostered in gamers' minds of why should I have faith in Marathon or Fair Games if Concord, or if it's going to go the way of Concord, or if it could potentially go the way of Concord, or whatever the case may be. But that is something that PlayStation has to figure out and fix themselves, right? For us, the gamer, if you see something that looks interesting and you want to try it out, I say, try it, play it, or whatever, and see if it's something that you like. But that hesitation from PlayStation's live service push, I think is going to be even more prevalent now, especially with the shutdown of Concord. With the cancellation of the shutdown of Concord and the shutdown of Firewalk Studio, right? But that's for PlayStation to figure out. But I understand the hesitation, and honestly, for me, I'm kind of floating around the same thing. Like, yo, like if I buy Fair Games or put time into Fair Games or into Marathon, who's to say that won't get shut down 2-3 weeks from its launch either? That is the mindset that unfortunately PlayStation has fostered within the minds of gamers because of all of the failures that has happened with their live service push so far. I don't make the rules. That's just what it is. So, listen, I appreciate everybody coming through. Kieran, what's good, man? Appreciate you. Heike, Zena, what's good, man? Shout out to everybody here, man. I appreciate everybody that came through today. I do hope you guys enjoyed this episode of When Persona Speaks. Round of applause for everybody in the chat. Yo, Oolong, what's good, man? Appreciate you pulling up, man. I do appreciate everybody coming through, man. I do hope you guys enjoyed this impromptu episode of When Persona Speaks. If you enjoyed the content, definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And listen, man, thank you guys for always rocking out with me, always rocking out with my channel, always rocking out with my content. If you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Persona Speaks. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also follow at Wups Podcast on Twitter. Check out What's Up PlayStation Podcast here on YouTube or on Apple or Spotify. It's the same name everywhere. Go check us out. Me and Barry do our podcast every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. What's Up PlayStation Podcast. I know this Saturday's episode, it's gonna be a lot. I know me and Barry are definitely gonna have a real deep conversation about this and really talk about it, because from so many different angles, because it's not just the shutting down of Firewalk. That's a big component of it, but it's just everything else surrounding PlayStation that has happened in such a short time. And to do this 2 weeks before the Pro drops, or a week and a half before the Pro drops, Jesus Christ. Lord have mercy, man. A week and a half before the Pro drops. It's gonna be a good show, man. Don't miss this Saturday's episode of What's Up PlayStation Podcast, man. But with that being said, guys, enjoy your evening. Be safe. And if you join it with your families or whatever, man, whatever you're doing, just please be safe with whatever you do. Enjoy yourselves. And always remember, it's me, your boy Persona. And I'm out, guys. Peace.